Well, hello and good afternoon, everyone. Well, or evening, or morning, depends on where you are in the world. Doesn't really matter. So, now that we're here, we're in a really weird spot because, it's like there's like super chill jazz music going on, and then like this looks all serious and everything, but that's just my unprofessionalism, so I'm very sorry about this. Anyways, the most important part is I have my two guests over here. I don't know who wants to introduce themselves first, but you probably know Guesty, so why won't we let Miss introduce himself first?
Hi, I missed. I don't really know what to say here other than that I've been a player of PSO2 since the very start of episode 1.
Yeah, I mean, personally for me, I've started in episode, like, late episode 2, pre-episode 3, so I guess I can say quite a few things, but well, the most important part is we're just going to be providing information, and we're just going to see, what's going on and everything like that. Hey, Guesty! Guesty's alive.
Hello. Oh, hi.
Alright, looks like the crew is ready. Anyways, so as you can see, the disclaimer, I'm just going to say real fast once again that all the information can be subject to change because we're talking about all the stuff that is from the SEGA livestream, which is practically like yesterday. So the information is, well, based on that and then effectively just what we know. Alright. So the first thing that we're probably going to go into first is the episode 5 digest. Throughout the entirety of like episode 5, SEGA actually like figures out a lot of stuff, especially how a lot of players are kind of unsatisfied with episode 5 as a whole, and there's a lot of reasons for that. So let's get into it. So what you see on the screen right now is actually all the statements literally by SEGA. Number 1, players really did not enjoy episode 5, and the game activity has been descending since the start of it. I mean, to be fair, I guess a lot of us can really say, the reason why that it's kind of declining. It's like, hey, there's a lot of really, really, really bad reasons. I mean, personally for me, I haven't been playing too much because these specific reasons, and then some people are just like, but the game's still kind of fun though, because like, Hero's still fun and like there's a lot of stuff to do, but I can agree to disagree.
I gotta be the best, obviously. I just like the gameplay. That's kind of why I'm still
isn't
around.
that like mostly the reason why a lot of us is playing PSO2 in the first place anyways?
Alright, I lied. It's the fashion.
That's true.
I love the fashion in this game. That's one of the main reasons I've stayed around. Character creating is
there's
fun.
not many games that really has the, capacity to really do this much character customization other than PSO2, so
yeah, I've hopped around a few games, and although some have had expansive character creators, this is the only one that's had a high customized character with a large amount of fashion and accessories. Right? That's just the huge appeal to it.
Well, yeah. That aside, though, having all the fashion and everything you like is really good and all, but imagine what if all that fashion and everything that you like just suddenly gets outdated? Just like all the old memes. Where's the harem shakes? Where's the planking? Where's the everything, In this case, in PSO2, well, Hero kind of outdoes everything, so
yeah, it does.
I mean, what can we really say much? Guesty, when was the last time you actually, like, played Hero?
I'd say the last time I played Hero was around Beach Wars. That would be June, July, I'd say.
Yeah.
That was I would say that was around the peak of
Same.
Hero.
I mean, it's still in the phase of
soon
like
after
people
that,
trying out Hero and stuff like that, but sooner or later, every class just kind of got really weak in comparison to Hero. So it's like, why? Why is it being like this? Like, right now in episode 5, it's not just that. It's like, we have so much attachment to our old classes, you know? Like, I love playing Force, but Force is practically like almost unplayable now.
I love Bouncer, but Hero kind of does what it can do and better.
I mean, Hero can, you know, they're multi-weapon. They're more multi-weapon than Bouncer because Bouncer only has 2. You don't count Gunslash. Gunslash does not count. I'm just saying right now, Gunslash does not count.
Well, then that would mean Hero has 4 weapons.
Oh shit, that's true! But Gunslash doesn't count as Hero boost though, so, you know. Yeah. It's pretty, hard to do stuff. I mean, like, and then Guesty, we all know Guesty enjoys Fighter. Flashbacks to, like, the Limit Break video. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
But yeah, effectively, like, it just feels like a lot of your efforts, you know, you spend so much time. I have, like, 6,000 hours on Force alone. And then it feels like all that effort is kind of wasted. All the gear and everything that I built, I'm like, man, this just sucks. This is literally just sucks. I just can't play it anymore. Thanks, compound cooldown. Why, Sega? Why do they do this to us?
Force is the first character that I made too, so that really upset me as well.
Yeah. I mean, at least they're saying that they want to, you know, create an environment where a lot more, like, classes and everything can really shine. So I'm really hoping Sega can actually live up to that expectation. Also, Yuki-tan says, I have not seen Azel play Karin or Akari for a long time. It's not Karin and Akari, by the way. It's Kirin and Akagi, but the point is...
Bring back Kirin!
Hey, look, I really want to play Summoner, okay? But it's so boring, it's not even, like... I just can't make fun videos out of it. It's impossible.
To be fair, I can't bring myself to bring that mobile game to play that mobile game either.
You mean Summoner War? Oh wait, that's like copyrighted name. I can't say that. I mean, yeah, but the point is, you know, there's a lot of classes that are still, you know, super clunky and like boring and like, and all that Sega's really doing is just like, you know, slapping a band-aid on everything, but not fixing anything. So
yeah, it seems like a sort of rubber band catch-up now. Like, Hero can do all these things. Let's try and make the other classes do it too.
Yeah.
Here's a Hello Kitty band-aid right there. Right there.
Right.
Looks nice now.
I mean, there's so many problems and just like, you know, it's really hard to say sometimes what Sega is thinking. I'm like, do they even play their own games sometimes? You know, these devs.
I'm worried about that sometimes
Anyways,
too.
Let's just go on a bit. So, like, since the episode 5 beginning, you know, they wanted to create a more balanced game by, like, nerfing a lot of stuff, you know. Imagine, like, every class, right? Imagine if Hero didn't exist. Like, I believe the game would be in, like, an almost perfectly balanced state. Like, at the end of episode 4, I feel like the game is, like, really balanced where everything was viable. Like, everything was really viable. And then, you know, episode 5 kind of brought back the episode 2 director, and then he, you know, stuff kind of happened. And what I mean by the episode 2 director is the person who created Shunka and Ilmagid.
I like Ilmagid though.
I'm in flashbacks though. Guessy, did you even play during those days?
Nope.
Imagine a day where Shunka does like ×5 the damage of everything else.
Sounds like PSO2 sometimes.
Imagine Ilmagid where it hits 3 times right before it passes through an enemy.
Basically, unlimited band-aid works. It's like, you gotta pick up more band-aids than players in PUBG, dude.
Gotta send out those grabby hands, am I right?
Those molester hands? Because it's... Oh no, man, we used to call them molester hands back in the day, so...
I mean, they do kind of look like grabby hands.
I mean, it's still good that, you know, Grab and Uber doesn't use like a grabby hand logo or something like that.
Oh no.
Yeah. But yeah, the thing is, like, they wanted to create like the game in a more normal state and make the game kind of like work in a really long operation. So, I mean, you can see how much that kind of backfired.
I can see where they were coming from, but the biggest problem that they had was they wanted to nerf and balance a whole bunch of classes, and then they threw a giant rock into the pond.
Called Hero.
A rock called Hero.
I mean, honestly, like, if you really want me to be completely honest, I don't think Hero's insurgence into the game was like a bad thing or anything. Like, considering like how Hero plays out, I feel like Hero kind of just fixed every problem that PSO2 had in the first place, you know? All the class clunkiness and everything like that. Like, just imagine, Guessy, imagine back in May,
Hello.
where when Hero first existed, how does it feel the first moment you stepped into the game, unlocked Hero, and swung the sword?
Felt like a superhero, TBH.
I mean, there's practically like everything just feels right, you know. It's just,
I agree
it's just
with
like
that.
fast.
You know?
It's just super fast. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel clunky. It doesn't feel bad. It does everything well.
Weapon switching.
It's a true hybrid class. Yeah.
Yeah, as someone who loves red mages and being able to do multiple stuff on one class, even if it's not the best, I did really enjoy this the surgence of Hero. You know, the emergence of the Hero class, because it just looked like something that was really fun and cool, and it brought with it the idea of playing a different kind of action game, something like a Devil May Cry game, just with all the quick weapon swaps.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. I'm not.
I mean,
gonna lie.
I've never played.
It's just that the situation it was brought
Yeah.
in was less than optimal.
Yeah, I was saying that I never played Devil May Cry, but I can see like the gameplay and everything just looks really good. Hero looks spectacular and feels spectacular, and I appreciate that. I completely appreciate the existence of Hero, but it's just the way that it's introduced is kind of really hurtful to the game in general. Like, Selphia makes a really good point in chat, like, you know, how they bring in Hero, but if they didn't nerf everything, especially the, you know, forced cooldowns, it would have been fine. It would have been completely fine. At least that's my honest opinion.
Yeah.
I do feel the same way, so don't worry about that.
Yeah. Wasn't really brought it in the best of situations.
Especially,
you know, we have it
especially
now.
the fact that they introduced it in like the age of like Buster Quest, which is like tower defense, and they nerfed the strongest mobbing class other than Hero. Boy, you're in for a fun time.
I miss my
techs having range. I miss shooting fireballs. I miss Guessy being able to reach mobs with surprise dunk.
Oh my god.
I mean, Guessy, just give us a perspective. How does it feel, literally, to play fighter in like Buster Quest nowadays?
EQ wise actually feels really nice because there's a lot of darkers and stuff as well that I can reach. But in normal Buster Quest, I'd be lucky if I can even touch a mob. Unless I probably had Asagiri, but I should be able to get there with my own stuff. I shouldn't need to require another weapon for that.
Yeah, that brings up a good point. Hero has all these factors that it has. It's got great power, great range, and great mobility. And that is the argument some people make. Like, oh, you could just get a weapon that has a good movement tech on it, like Rodeo Drive or Asagiri.
Especially Asagiri.
But yeah, especially Asagiri, as it's currently one of the fastest movements in the game. But I shouldn't have to get some external means, like Esty said. I should just be
It's
able to do it
literally a
myself.
band-aid. They just slapped a band-aid on it. Like, feels, man. Anyways.
And you get a Power Ranger
Right?
Band-Aid.
Talk about which, though, Kaiser in chat actually did a pretty good point, actually. You know, after the first balance update, some classes did come back into track. Like, you know, Gunner can actually burst higher than Hero because if you have a chain party, you know, you still have higher chain damage. And then Fighter can potentially do more damage than Hero, but only on, like, practically an unmoving sandbag. Hero can do just that much damage when they're mobile as well. So it's like it just does everything like way too well. Anyways, though, speaking of class variety, in the Buster Quest, as SEGA said in their digest itself, that Hero is still mostly played, which I'm not surprised at all. However, you know, with the insurgence of like the new buffs and nerfs to like the quest, you know, starting with Profound Invasion, which consists of like Elder and Luther, and then now into like the ultimate quest and everything like that, the class variety is definitely a lot better. Like, since the class changes, the balancing is a lot better, kind of, because it kind of gives people more incentive to actually play other classes, especially like Fighter and like Braver actually feels a lot better because they're faster in their own ways. Now, here's the thing. There is one like really important factor that people doesn't really like look at sometimes, is the factor of how you feel when you play a game, you know. For example, like Fighter, you know, back then you had a lot of really good hit stops for like Tornado Dance and stuff, for example. But nowadays it's like, it just feels really fluid, but still, like, there's just something that feels really off about playing a lot of these classes.
Yeah, Hunter's sword used to have a lot of weight to it. Like, the feeling of the sword moving through enemies was something that was pretty great. The hit stop to it. It felt slow. It felt somewhat clunky, but it felt good to feel the weight of that sword go through enemies. It felt good, and you know, because of these changes, certain classes have lost that weight, like you've said.
Yeah. I mean, like, having a feel-good thing in your hand is, like, really good. It's really funny because Hero actually feels good as well, you know? But it's just something that's, like, what? I don't really get it sometimes, you know? It's just the small things that really just changes, but it just makes such a huge impact. I have one of my closest friends, you know, who mains Fighter, who loves Fighter because, you know, Double Saber is a really cool weapon, Tornado Dance especially. And then suddenly, like, the hit stops and everything kind of just gets removed off Tornado Dance, and now it just feels hella weird. It just goes through everything. Like, there's no weight, there's no punch to it at all. Like, it just feels weird. It's just something that, you know, you can't really explain with words, but if you've played it before, you know, you kind of can really, really feel the changes. And it feels bad, you know? It feels bad, man. I don't play Fighter that much, so we can ask Guesty, because he's a Fighter expert, you know? With those, like, amount of deaths. Kappa.
Hello?
But yeah, Guesty, like, how do you feel, though, overall about, like, the hit stop changes and everything for Fighter?
For some things, I feel it worked out better, but like you said earlier, Tornado Dance feels really weird. You could just kind of go through the enemy.
I mean,
like, there's no weird, like, oh, I hit an enemy. Like, the hit stop was more of an indication that you hit an enemy, and that was pretty great for mobs. But then now it's just like, oh, I just went through the enemies. It just doesn't feel like there's any real impact to the hit. It's just like, it's just there. It's just like, oh, I did it. Okay.
It just feels empty. There's a lot of stuff that, you know, we can't even think of, like, other games, you know. Guessing you play, like, Gundam and stuff a lot. Think of, like, when you actually slash stuff and stuff explodes, you know.
Yeah, there's, like, just a nice satisfying hit stop to that. Like, just feels, you just get that satisfaction that you actually hit something. Where now in PSO2, it's like, the only satisfaction you have is you see a number pop up. don't have any actual visual impact or.
I mean, honestly, even if you think of mobile games like Fate Grand Order, Fire Emblem Heroes, stuff like that, when you use your special ability, you know, everything, you know, you just like, yo, I'm gonna use a super awesome move, and like everything in the screen like explodes, even though it's like so slow and it's not practical, it just feels good. And I think that's really important to the player, you know, you just want to feel good doing stuff.
Yeah.
And then nowadays, like, oh, dude, I had a 9999999 damage with a Marin. And
At least Tramagi Type 0 still has that sound when it hits enemies.
yeah. Right?
That makes me happy.
Or like when Foye like scrapes enemies, you just got the like that flaming sound is like, I love it. I can't explain, but I love it. But yeah, because like the movement upgrades as well on some of the dashing stuff like that, it's kind of still band-aided because, you know, there's still a lot of underlying problems and stuff like that, but you know, it makes a lot of stuff feels really good. Katana has a lot more reach, Knuckles feels better, daggers feel a lot better. But it's just some small things that, you know, can still be better. Can still be a lot better. So yeah. Speaking of balance updates, so they're still doing a lot of the balancing for especially Force and Summoner, which is going to be tweaked into December. I'm sure Guesty has the information on exactly what they're doing.
For December specifically? I should. Who knows?
I know that they're going to finish up some of the compound readjustments. Was that December or was that?
That won't be till
that's 2018.
The compound adjustments are compound adjustments are 2018.
Force is still dead, dude. Force is still dead. Feels bad, man.
Feels so bad.
But yeah, they're still continuing to see all these class changes effectively until, you know, things get a lot better for the classes and stuff like that. So yeah, it's like they're still trying to fix things up, but I don't think they're really making the proper fixes, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, number one, they're just literally trying to band-aid things, like we were just saying the entire time. They're just like trying to add stuff to make stuff work better. And yeah, Selphia, thank you very much. They're adding the first blood thingy for the Force, which they already did, right? The first blood skill for Force?
Yeah. That's already been added, yeah. It's in both Force and Tekka trees.
Okay, it's in both Force. Okay, yeah, that works. But basically, like, they're just band-aiding because, you know, they're just trying to get rings and everything to make things better, but if anything, if they really want to fix things to be to hero standards, they really just have to rebalance the entire game. Like, they literally have to, like, overhaul classes. Like, if you think of Hunter, how many PAs are practically unusable?
Yeah. Quite a
or
few.
even, like, Katana Braver, too. Like, who the hell in their right mind uses Tsukimi?
I eat zucchinis.
Like... okay, sure. No, but, like... Tell me right now, like, is there any braver player in their right mind who uses Tsukimi Sazanka, actually, over, like, Sakura?
Oh. Well, when you put it like that...
Is there any reason to use, like, not Sakura? Unless you're using Asagiri for movement. Yeah. That's right. Exactly. I mean, Sakura Gekka is like the normal comp, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I also use Kazan
for pre-spawning, Hato, yeah.
And Fudo.
Fudo I use it for Buster
and
sometimes.
Fudo now. Fudo gained a really good power buff. It got a range increase and it got a power buff, which makes it a really useful
really nice,
attack
especially
now.
for Buster. But you know, you still gotta do catch-up when Hero can just vapor bullet and everything just dies, you know. I'm sorry, I'm just being sarcastic.
Oh no, Tsukimi Gekka. The true combo.
Tsukimi Gekka is like it's like the basic buster. Man, I'm thinking back to episode 2 now, like when Braver existed but Sakura didn't. Oh, it was so useless. It was so bad. Everyone had to use Hand Tsubaki.
Hand Tsubaki.
Oh no. But yeah, it's kind of really sad when you really think about it. But yeah, in the beginning of the game, in the beginning of like Hero release, they practically just like wanted Hero to be better than other classes because, you know, it's like the first, oh my god, guys, we got a super advanced class now. It's gonna be so much better. And, you know, everything happened, and then they're like, we fucked up. Yeah. Basically that.
Gotta lock this class behind a whole bunch of unlocks, therefore it's the strongest. Whoops! Made it too strong.
And now we're stuck in this like weird situation. Oh well. Anyways, let's just like recap the entirety of episode 5. So we're just gonna go topic by topic here. So we already talked about the insurgence of Hero being a healthy thing for the game. I think it's a really good thing because, you know, if they can really like balance the game state and really base everything off like Hero's super fast-paced gameplay and stuff like that, I think it would be amazing. Like, it would be super amazing. Cause like, imagine if like Ranger actually really gets like super good buffs to make it feel good, you know. Think of games like Vanquish or like Devil May Cry or like some crazy shooter games. Like Ranger, if Ranger could feel that good, I would love playing Ranger so much. Or even like, if you think of some certain skills of like characters who uses machine guns and stuff like that, even like, for example, Tina from Closers or something like that, it feels good, man. It's a class of guns that's supposed to do so much damage, but it just feels good. So we'll just see. We'll see what happens. The other time, like, Sakai actually came out. Satoshi Sakai, which was the producer of PSO2, he actually came out and do, like, kind of like an appeal to, like, the PSA to public, where they apologize for, you know, losing the player's faith and stuff like that. Which I kind of feel bad for, honestly. Because it's not something that a director really... I don't think anyone wants to do that, you know? They know that they fucked up, and they kind of they really like want to gain the trust and faith back for the players, but I want to be cautiously optimistic about the future. You know, they're also hiring a lot more members, and like they're trying to do a lot of stuff. You know, they're eating a lot of our feedback and stuff like that. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen in the near future. So. Talk about band-aids. Dark Blast. Basically that. And you turn into practically Dio for like 60 seconds, and you just like infinity rush and go like
Yeah. I find it fun.
Dark Blast is pretty cool. You can meme a lot of things with it, and you can also yeah, you know,
it definitely shines really well in a cluster of mobs like Buster Quest. Definitely where its highest shine point is.
I mean, that's like one thing. I find Dark Blast to be pretty cool as a concept because, like, you know, we have attachments to, you know, Elder, Luther. We've fought their Hunar forms for like 1,000,000 times. So it's like,
I still
right
in our form.
Oh man, dude! Imagine if we get the Deus form, Deus Hunas, dude. Oh, yo, man, I'm gonna throw those branches everywhere, dude. Throw the rocks at the enemies. Throw rocks, throw sticks and stones, dude.
With the story of episode 4, I highly doubt that'll come out during the current episode. Maybe further down. That'd be really silly.
I mean, like, when are we gonna get the Persona form, right? I mean, practically, like, to start episode 5, we jumped into PD's asshole.
Hey,
okay. Calm down. Think about this carefully. How you got into Omega was you were fighting PD, Zhao shows up, tells you to jump into its butthole, and then you appear in a field.
I don't think this is the imagery I want.
I mean, considering that they're bringing back, you know, the weapons of, like, OT weapons, like Nemesis NTs, Slave NT, and now the Sun Deity NTs coming back up, you know. We jump out of PD's butthole for a bit, get the Austere NT, and we jump back in. How hard is that?
Oh.
I don't think that was a reaction I expected, but
I don't like the imagery of jumping into a butthole.
Oh dear.
It's designed to look like a mouth. Where do you get
It's
butthole
a butt!
from?
Like, every time, you know, you beat double, you jump down that boat. Yeah, the hovering platform, I'm just gonna call it a boat. And then you just literally sail into the butt of a flower.
What is this imagery?
Well, can't unsee now. But yeah.
Thanks, Hazel. Ruined PD for me, why don't you?
But remember, PD is you, so it's kind of like buttholeception.
Right.
You jump into your butthole to go into another butthole. Wait, what? Okay, let's not go too deep.
Fine, then ruin my other self, why don't you?
Alright. No, but the real question is, like, the PD that we all fight, like, whose butthole is it? Okay, actually, stop. I'm not continuing that, I'm sorry. Let's move on to, you know, talk.
Hey, dumb bunny,
let's move on to talk about, you know, the, what they plan to do with the drops. So, they're effectively making 13 stars becoming, like, the more common baseline for the game now. So, like, the newer abilities are gonna help you, like, affix and stuff like that as well. And then they're also making 13-star weapons actually marketable! Wow!
This progression makes sense. I remember when 12-star weapons were released, back when it was, the Cycle one?
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Cycle
but still,
one.
like, the
I
power
don't remember being
creep isn't as
sellable,
big,
and it was-
though.
Well, no, the power creep's not as big anymore, but still, I just remember a time when we had 12 stars that weren't exactly sellable. And then after getting a whole bunch of them between a few episodes, I think it was one and a half, maybe 2 episodes, then they started to be something that was sellable with a pass.
Yeah. I mean, with that said, you know, they're doing kind of like the same thing with the 14 stars now, except the 14 stars are kind of like a quote-unquote power creep. You would probably be able to explain, like, why 14 stars are a bit of a power creep more than me, because, you know, you look at some, like, certain, like, statistics and stuff like that. We're not going to bring up, like, statistics, but you can explain that, miss.
Numbers intensifies. Yeah, 14 stars are very interesting when it comes to this quote-unquote idea of power creep. Now, some people that I know have somewhat of a wrong idea about wording it, but essentially, even without balancing classes, the potentials that the 14 stars have seem to enhance classes to the point where they can be brought up to, even if they are subpar in their original damage, they can be brought up to a point where they can at least contend with heroes in the current state of the game. For example, a Force, which right now is kind of hard to play Force, if they had an Eternal Psycho Drive, they would have a huge boon to their power, to the point where they can actually start catching up to the other classes. Bouncer as well. Having a Jupiter Tullus allows you to, in many situations, begin to start catching up to these stronger, more commonly seen classes like Hero, Fighter, and Gunner.
I mean, if you get them, that is. Cough, cough, Gusty.
Yeah, if you get them, Guesty.
Why don't we add a little salt to this podcast and tell the viewers how many 14 stars you've gotten like the past month?
Oh, do I really have to?
You're not getting out of this.
You know, that statement alone kind of makes it seem kind of bad. We know the record is 5 14-star drops for one person on one account.
Guessy, list it.
Well, let's see. My first one, I think, was from Deus, which
Tat.
was a tat, unfortunately. And then
Micro staff, yep.
came the boosted PI. Boosted PI came, and then from there, boosted PI came, and then from there was the Jupiter, the Dual Blade.
Wasn't that from Yamato?
No, wait, that was from Yamato. Yeah, Yamato was Jupiter Dual Blades when I ran a
man,
Yamato.
Miss Salt.
And then from Yamato, from PI was the TMGs, so that would be 3. Wait, no, wait. Was it TMG? No.
Was it the TMG?
Oh my god, wait, switching my character. No, it was Lavis Cannon. Hold on, let me switch my character.
Yeah, you got the
There you
Lavis
go.
cannon.
That's the one I
Pretty sure it was
remember.
Lavis Cannon, Tact, and the Dual Blades. Let me just
So
recheck.
yeah, basically what we're saying is Guessy got 3 14 stars within the span of a month.
Guesty, give me the Jupiter Talus.
Oh, I am the one talking right now.
Says
Hi.
Guessy. Yeah, basically Salt.
Says hi.
Yeah, I mean, Selfie had made a good point though. They literally did say like around this time next year, 14 stars are gonna be normal.
To be fair, they're already giving us essentially a weapon of our choice for a 14-star with the upcoming
Now!
Dragon EQ. So everyone should have at least
That's
one.
still a
sitting around
problem
somewhere.
though, but we're gonna get into that in a little bit because the next section is gonna be like after we talk about a little bit of the stuff is gonna be the Dragon EQ and stuff like that. So I'm gonna explain that a little later. But for now, let's continue with our agenda and we're gonna talk about some, our quest contents. First of all, the main content of, episode 5 is Buster quests.
Oh boy, my favorite quest.
Oh boy, my favorite.
Okay, hands up, hands up in chat right now. Like, give us like some random give us a hand emote on the chat. Say who likes Buster Quest. And when I say that, I mean like just spam the hand emote because I'm just being sarcastic.
I mean, I'm pretty. Oh,
I'm sorry. But yeah, the point is, Buster is like the most tedious thing ever. Period. The poor design choices is so bad. And it's supposed to be like a better tower defense, but I don't know.
Nah,
I think my main issue with it is that they plan to make that the main content for episode 5 overall, and yet if that's what they have to offer, then it's gonna feel pretty lengthy. I feel like a pretty lengthy episode.
Not only that, just remember. No. In the beginning of Buster Quest, who remembers that we only have 2-3 stamina to freaking play Buster?
Oh, boy.
no.
SEGA.
and I mean, to be fair, some of the design choices I find were done really well with Buster. For example, the free matching can put you in your free match and somebody else's main match if they're trying to rank up. So if you join a grade 1 free match, you might be in somebody who is in grade 1 and is doing a main match.
I love the concept.
So you're actually going from... Yeah, so as a grade 2 or a grade 3, you're coming back down the ladder to get stamina back. and you're helping out other people who are trying to go up on the ladder.
Yeah. I mean, like, the concept of actually, you know, being able to just enjoy playing with your friends and also, like, kind of, like, you know, progressing in yourself as well is, like, a really good thing.
On the topic of playing with friends, though, the fact that you're locked to multi-block matching, and the only way to even set up a private match at all is to actually lock the match beforehand. You can't even search or join your friends' matches unless it's passworded.
Which is really bullcrap.
It's kind of annoying now, yeah.
Although I will say that they kind of did band-aid the Buster stamina as well by increasing the stamina to like 100 something.
120?
Yeah. But you know, there was...
Yeah, but even that 120 resets every day, which makes less and less of a reason to run free match unless you're trying to farm for the badges.
Yeah, so they kind of just broke their own system to begin with.
Yeah.
Which is like kind of awkward. And then they also put Buster into the main story quest. Like,
oh yeah, that went really well for them.
That was painful, sitting around waiting for a grade 1 or grade 2 free match to fill up. Because I certainly couldn't solo these things in the beginning. I don't even think I could solo them now, even with the changes that they made. But
hey, Miss.
Still.
Hey, Guesty. Should we tell them how fun two-man Buster Quest was?
Oh, you mean before they nerfed it? Oh boy. That was, I'm surprised we kept our rank, TBH.
Oh my goodness. Why was that a thing? Like, thanks, Sega. Fucking story missions. Just, God damn it.
At the very least, they adjusted that to where the tower health would change depending on the number of players in the field. So if you went in with, say, 2 people, your Buster towers, they'd have a lot more health than if there were 8 people in the field. So they did try to adjust it so that way if you need to, you can still survive on your own if you have to do story.
Yeah. Man, feels bad. It's like, you know, the Buster fields and everything is like really huge and it's just like a wasteland. But it's kind of like designed around heroes' mobility, which effectively just leaves other classes to rot.
This basically loops us back to the same point of hero has all this mobility, and there's the arguments for getting weapons with movement text on them, but not everyone wants that.
I don't know, man. It's just like, there's so many things that is supposed to work properly, but it just doesn't. Like, everything's just like slowly falling apart, and it's like, yeah, no, not like this. Well, talk about that. I mean, the one thing that they're really trying to do a lot nowadays is they're revitalizing some of the old content, but guess what the problem is?
Time gated.
Damn it, Sega! Why can't I have my boosted PIs forever, man? That is fun!
I want my Banther EQ back, TBH.
You know what I want back? My balanced game. I mean, revamping some certain old content, you know. PI was great. You know what I love the most in PSO2 so far? Like, since like episode 1 to 4 that I've played, like, what I loved the most was the end of episode 4, which had the Chronicles quest. All the like episode 1 to 4 Chronicles quests. Man, those are so well done. Like, it's balanced really well around the difficulties as well, because if you really want to run XH, it's kind of like an extra challenge, but it doesn't like provide that much more drops or anything than SH. And you also need like a really good party or like people who knows what they're doing and stuff like that.
I brought Tekker to that
Man,
one.
it was so fun. Like, it was so freaking fun.
Yeah.
And then they had to remove it. And then boosted PIs was like super fun too, and then they had to remove it. Just like,
Man, I really like Loser. Not even like all jokes from me aside. I really did.
I
Like the
love
Loser
Luther.
EQ. The mechanics of it were just great as a fight.
no, not just that. Like Luther is like one of the only bosses in PSO2 where there's multiple ways to fight it.
I just like his design. I like his music.
And who doesn't love Luther? As a character, you know. Man, he's such a meme, dude. Luther's such a meme.
He's so great.
Yeah.
Like when he came back in episode 4, what's he doing here?
I mean, like, it's so good that he had to be brought back, you know. And then like,
yeah, I like that.
those are like the good like bring back stuff, you know. But stuff, for example, like Yamato getting these stat 6 fodders and like the NT weapons and stuff like that. That's also pretty okay, but it's not like the quest really got updated or anything like that. So it's kind of like meh. I mean,
They just took the same quest in Yamato and just threw Vegas
Yeah.
enemies in there and said it's
it's
a new
basically
quest.
like what chat is saying now. Like, there's
Not
so
a
many
quest.
like old dead content that's like, you know, the city EQs, fucking Chrome Dragon EQs.
Remember when if you remember earlier during during the later half of episode 4, they were doing during the seasonals, if a random planet seasonal would come up, you would be able to see some of these other EQs
Yeah.
that existed. But because of the EQ there,
No,
nobody
but the
would
thing is,
run
they
them.
practically remove all the other planet EQs at this point.
They pretty much did. You no longer see things like Vopar emergency
Hey,
quests
where's
for
my
Vopar
Subdue
and
Fang Banther,
whatever that
man?
was called. Yo, bring back Banther quests. I want to run my Banther
so-
EQ. Shout out to Big Varda EQ.
Oh
Shout
my
out to Big Varda
goodness,
EQ.
it's so useless. Why is that a thing? Like, no.
It's the only way to fight. It's the only way to fight extra hard Big Varda,
know,
and it's
right?
gone now.
Well, unless you like plus 10 shacks. But that's not X8, right? So that doesn't count.
The Darker Den EQ, yeah, PA World.
Yeah, right? Feels bad, man. Anyways, though, let's just like talk over about the game balancing real fast. We're just gonna go class by class here. So, basics. We're gonna start with Hunter. Hunter, back in episode 1,
Let's
episode 2, used to be as slow as a freaking potato. Even though in episode 1, the meta
Yeah, you
was
would
like
never really
practically
see.
swords. Because like everything else was still equally as bad. But back then, like, Hunter was practically unplayable.
I mean, if you're unplayable in a game of virtually unplayable things, I guess everything becomes playable at
Right.
that point. But yeah, with Hunter, they got a lot of quality of life changes to their weapons.
Yeah.
For example, Partisan. The gear dance that Partisan has, where spinning the Partisan will gain you Partisan gear, that dance now gives you a return of
Yep.
some PP, which is really nice. You used to have a lot of PP issues, and with this new dance added in, like, it's helped out a lot.
It's
with
funny
its
because it's
recovery.
always been in the game, but nobody cares about it.
Yeah.
And then they added the PP recovery, and then everything just got better. Like, damn.
I mean, people started playing Partisan a lot more when Sacred Skewer came out, because I mean, throwing that spear feels
It's
really
so
good.
satisfying.
And now you can throw the spear, spin your Partisan, and then throw it again.
Yeah. Like the gay bulk just magically appear in your hand.
Yep.
Man, dude, I'm just gonna say right now, just give us a gay bulk skin, make everything like red in the particles, and just every time like I'm gonna go into Buster Quest and be like, gay bulk alternative.
What do you think you are, the master of
My
Dunscath?
name is not Skasaha. talk about which, the pronunciation on that is a bit weird. Like the Japanese call it like skasaha, but like the proper pronunciation is like skahak.
Languages.
Irish.
Yeah, it's an Irish thing.
I mean, yeah. Let's not go a little too off topic.
Yeah. We should try to stay on point. At least try to, I guess.
You know. Yeah, the third hunter weapon for Wired Lance. I did not play Wired Lances, so I actually cannot give you an opinion on that. Do you guys play Wired Lances at all?
No, I have not.
I remember having a huge prejudice against Wired Lances because of episode 1. Yeah, grabbing enemies and displacing them was not fun back then. So, I don't exactly have the highest opinion of Wired Lances, even though I know they have some of the higher damaging options.
For Hunter right now, yeah?
Yeah. Holding current, man. Really strong.
Feels holding current, man. It's like, yeah, sure. But still no one really cares. Because Hero exists. Why play Sword when you can play Hero Sword, right? Yeah, that's kind of like a really sad joke. I'm sorry.
Makes me sad.
Anyways, let's go into Guest C's expertise. Why don't you go? Why don't you give us an overview of Fighter's current state in the meta right now?
Actually, I'd say Fighter's really good in the current state of the meta. It's all the PA buffs it's gotten, and then the movement, not movement, the chase. Yeah, the tracking. The tracking is actually really stupid now. Like, Raging Waltz with twin daggers. Wait, Raging Waltz is the tracking one, right? Yeah. Like, for instance, with that, before, when, let's use TD as an example. When the airships came, Fighter pretty much couldn't do anything. It'd just be up to other classes. Fighter's Raging Waltz can actually chase up to the aircraft now, which is a good example of how far they've raised the distance of his chase. It's really silly though. You do an upward dive kick all the way up to the aircraft. It's like that doesn't work, but okay.
Jump across the map. Do you know what that reminds me of? If you've ever played Call of Duty before, we all know what Commando Pro does, right?
I think so.
Yo, I'll leave that joke up to whoever understands what Commando Pro is. Modern Warfare 2 flashbacks.
I was just gonna say you become like a shooting star.
Dude. Okay, that was sad. You know what's even sadder? Ranger.
Oh.
I mean,
Ranger's in an interesting spot right now.
I mean, it's still kind of like really weird, slow, and clunky. Like, you know, everything's just gonna die because, you know, Hero just pre-spawns everything before Ranger even gets like an end attract off.
Well, yeah, their charge moves still need a bit of work for sure, but with Ranger, the change to moving and standing snipe is back to its original state, where you would instantly traverse between both of them. So there's no midpoint now between them. They received a pretty nice power buff too on having a special bullet loaded. Those things can do a lot of damage. I do agree.
They hit so hard. It's not even like... You know, the fastest like solo PD runs right now? Practically 4-minute solo PDs of Ranger are people spamming bullets. They spam bind bullet, they spam weak bullet, they spam... Cause it's like the only like... it's only like the only fast option that Ranger has nowadays. It's like... You can shoot like, what, 4 weak bullets before you even get like an end attract off. And it does like way more damage.
I really feel like they might need to have a bit more of a speed up on some of their
Right?
charge attacks somewhere along
really
the
good.
line. Just to help them be able to chase down enemies that other people
It
can
would be
speed
really good.
towards in faster rate at a faster time.
Yeah, and then like launchers for mobbing is kind of just like all you can practically do is just either divine launcher or try to aim your clusters, and that's about it.
The options are limited but strong.
Which kind of goes back to my point that I made like earlier in the podcast, is talking about like the redundancy of a lot of PAs. Like, what launchers PA do you really use? Fake silhouette? Actually, okay, I take that back. I take that back.
I mean, this is how I.
I know.
Put down a fake silhouette.
Fake silhouette. Fake silhouette is like the she's. Okay, let's not do. Okay, flame bullet.
I've heard uses for flame bullet on some rangers, for mobbing. It's quick damage. It's something that you can throw out for some quick damage for sure. I've seen arguments for it. Whether or not people actually use it is another question.
I know 1 year of the day that. Wait, what? 1 day of the year. God damn it, my brain.
1
year of the day.
Okay.
1 year of the day, everyone.
Like I said, basically 1 day of the year that everyone uses flame bullet is 420.
Got a blaze eye.
Yeah. Basically, it's like the data uses like burn everything. So, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen Sphere Racer. I've seen what is the slow moving exploding AoE?
Cosmos?
Called? I can't even remember that one.
Yeah, Cosmos Breaker.
Cosmo Breaker. Cosmo Breaker.
It sounds so cool. It's like,
yeah. That's a good one I've seen, and I've seen Divine Launcher Craft version. But other than those three main PAs for mobbing stuff, I don't see too much. Oh yeah, and I guess Rodeo Drive for movement.
And then like stuff like, Zero Distance or like Crazy Smash, stuff like that is basically just used for nothing but JA.
Well, now before those were used to proc standing snipe. You don't need them anymore because of how quickly they change.
Yeah. It's just awkward. Like, Rangers is awkward, so.
Poor Ranger.
Yeah.
People who love it do good on it, but learning it now in this current area, it's
Ranger's kind of like
hard.
in a weird gray area. It's not bad, but it's not good either. It's
not bad. It's not good.
Which come to
It's
like
not bad.
Gunner, the class of like the highest burst potential in the game, but the most shittiest mobbing you've ever seen.
They're trying to work on that, but I don't think buffing the range of shift period will really help that. Shift period and the multipliers that Gunner has don't exactly work very well. Zero range plus a really long ranged PA.
Yeah.
Something doesn't add up here.
Right? I mean, they're trying to relax zero range for Gunner because the insurgents of Hero, they're trying to make like Gunner is supposed to be more like Hero now.
So it seems. I mean, they even changed the way that Showtime worked, though I'm a little upset about the keep ring change.
I mean, Selfie has made a really good point in chat. Like, stuff just dies too fast nowadays because our gear's like way too good.
Yeah, but somehow I feel like just adding more HP won't be the solution.
Well, I mean, for sure, what we can say is we're just gonna see the dragon and determine first, like, if Sega's kind of going in the right direction or not.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I do like that they.
No. I was just saying that I just feel like overall with Gunner, I just feel like Gunner kind of like loses his identity a bit for being in like a zero range class.
Yeah, that is sort of falling to pieces there. I like some of the PA changes they are going with, though, because Grim Barrage gaining vertical tracking. I feel like that was kind of needed, although it's going to mess up some of my movement on the class.
All right.
Feels. What else? The nerfs to chain and the buffs to chain. That was actually a weird moment for the class.
Yeah, having chain on like a lower cooldown is like actually better.
And then they made a lot of the extra skills for chain main class only, which was hurting the gunner subs. So, you know, I'm pretty sure the whole point was to be the death of Sugu.
Which makes
Summoner
sense.
Gunner.
You know, local summoner gunner ruins fun for everyone.
Local summoner ruins everything.
And then now, what's a summoner?
All you see is Marin smug during the entirety of that point.
Like,
of episode
what's
4.
a gunner? I mean, what's a... Whoa. Don't say what's a gunner. Whoa there. I stepped into a little bit of gray territory. I'm sorry. I mean, what's a summoner? I've never heard of it before. Is it delicious? Can I eat it?
I don't know, but it sounds disappointing.
This is just making me sad now. But you know what's even sadder? Guesty!
Oh boy.
What is force?
It's Artie's dreams shattered.
Feels compound cooldown, man.
Oh, everything is horrible now. Everything will be fire.
Sega. Who would have thought that, you know, removing the only thing that makes force competitive with every other class is a...
would kill a class. Who would have thought?
Who would have thunk it? They tried to lower the skill cap of force by making it so you can't spam your compounds. Now force is nothing.
Can it...
And then, to kick it while it was down, they took its range.
Okay, can I leave the room for like 5 minutes while you guys talk about Force and Tekker? I don't want to cry.
But Tekker's still fun.
I don't care! I don't want to talk about it! Feels bad, man. Like... No!
Same.
Man, dude.
However, they are helping it gain a bit more options now. They've reduced every single element tree to requiring only 15 points instead of 20, allowing you to have more skill points to take more options. Taking all elements on Tekker tree is now exceedingly viable.
Yeah.
They've also added this new first blood type skill. Even though they put a timer for about 0.5 seconds, most of the time to cast and then recast a tech, you'll already be past that threshold anyway. So most of your charge techs will practically be considered a JA at that point. Though I would still recommend JAing techniques after the first one, simply because it helps speed up some animations.
Which is, well, a lot more quality of life,
else?
which is like making it like really, really good to the first place. So, other than that, you know, we're gonna be talking about like the compound changes again later in a bit, but for now, we'll just go through the list here. Tekker.
Tekker got a lot of changes to their skill tree as well. Some of the stuff got cut in terms of their skill cost as well.
Fundamentally,
so
though,
now you
like,
can take
a lot of things. Like fundamentally, Tekker still does practically the same thing, but better.
Yeah. As a support Tekker, you can now take the wand stuff to be able to smack enemies while you're also supporting. It does help bolster your damage just a little bit. Although support Tekker's main focus is still support.
Yeah.
I have seen a few people argue for a bit of a different twist for Tekker, especially with some of the newer changes. Taking a casting type Tekker using jet boots, but the build is a little too specific for most people to be able to do.
You think so? Oh yeah, because
I think so, because it requires very specific weapons.
Well, who wants to play
Some that
PSO2
aren't even
ES,
available
right?
in the main game. I know, right? Aryans are cool looking and all, but sometimes the grind gets a little too much for me.
It kind of feels really bad where you actually have to play the PSO phone game, which, by the way, isn't actually a good game.
It's not. I fall asleep every time I try to play it. The other thing that's really upsetting, though, with Tekker is the changes they made to Xanverse.
I'm kind of sad, honestly.
Now, I understand what they were doing there. With all the proper conditions, stuff like Mother from episode 4 simply melts under a properly done support Xanverse.
I feel like it helps, like,
this-
you know, Tekker have an identity. Like, you have to set up for certain things, you know? Which makes you feel like, you know, I'm like, hey, I've made this much gear for this, and then it's like, it's a very specific playstyle that doesn't work anywhere else, and then it's just like gone. I feel like support in this PSO2 game is like the most unique thing ever, because moving around damage fields, aka Xanverse, or like having to keep up buffs and supports without like the proper UIs and stuff like that, takes a lot of skill, and you have to monitor people's health all the time by their health bars. So it's actually really good, you know. It's a really dynamic style of playing support, and then if you ever played it before, like, I really enjoy it a lot more than some of the other classes, because it just feels unique and dynamic. It feels like you're really interacting with a lot of things.
That's an interesting point to make. This game doesn't exactly have proper class roles like other MMOs have, with tanks,
What's a
damage, healers, and supports. This game really just has damage.
But in, like, different forms.
So, yeah. So, with them taking away the only semblance of, or at least harming the only semblance of supporting in this game, even though that supporting was still dealing damage. You know, now that I think about it, I don't really know if that was supporting at all.
Damage support. There we go. Damage support.
They started
damage
to
support.
hurt that. Yeah, it was damage support. Now, while that converted the class back to being more of a support type, I feel like some people who enjoyed seeing all the numbers from their Xanverse might have gotten turned off by it, and we may start seeing a lot less. We've started seeing a lot less Tekkers now, especially with the Surgeons of Hero.
Yeah. Man, if only Warcry was viable.
Oh man, if Hunter was a proper tank, yo, that class would be so fun. Like, so much more fun than it is now.
Yeah. Instead, we all get these off-tank builds, and then, you know, one of the things that is a really big off-tank build is, like, Braver.
What a strange class.
Braver's in a weird spot. It's really good, but it's also kind of, like, not quite hero good.
I'm still upset about the fact that they have more hate generation than a Hunter. How can a Hunter do anything like this now? Anyway. Yeah, it is in a weird spot, you're right.
Braver isn't bad. It's really fun to play. A lot of his stuff is a lot better. Except, like, you know, some small tidbits. For example, like, the pet peeve of, like, step attacking is still really weird. Like, the attack speed to the movement speed is, like, really off, but, you know. Some PAs being sped up is pretty good, but that's about it.
Yeah, I think I've mentioned it a bit before, but there are a couple more PAs for Braver that got a lot of buffs to make them more viable. Before, I remember people just basically doing Sakura type 0 as their damage, but with the PA buffs that they've made to, you know, to Gekka, to Fudo, Hato, all these different attacks. There are a few more PAs that you can actually use to deal damage on Braver, which is nice for a Katana Braver.
Although, speaking of Braver and Hero in comparison, like, Braver to begin with is like, I'm not gonna lie, a failure of a hybrid class.
Yeah, kind of. The idea was to have 2 weapon types and 2 stats to use, but in the beginning they didn't exactly give you enough points to do all this, did they?
Not even close.
Even now you can't even do it. You can take both stances, but taking both weapons in general is a bit difficult.
Yeah, basically you just had to choose.
And you do have to choose. And speaking of the other weapon that it has, bow, They did hurt Bow quite a bit with the changes to its biggest damaging
Ouch.
attack. Banishing Arrow costs way too much PP now to be
Hey, that
useful.
kills my Force Braver too, god damn it.
It does, and that's one of the most painful things. They did the same thing to Volgraptor too for
Yeah.
Partisan.
It's like, there's a lot of consequences, you know? To all these, like, buffs and changes, it's like, why sometimes? Hero just like, no. The way, the existence
makes
of
me
Braver
sad
is just like,
sometimes.
ugh. Wait, did I say the existence of Braver? I mean Hero. Fuck. God! Ah!
Yeah. Hero makes me sad. Some of the changes that were made to Braver also put it into a very interesting point. Everyone remembers the Gurren meta,
Oh man.
but now Asagiri is the fastest PA
It's even faster
alive.
than Tokyo Dash Pads.
It is faster than the
I
Tokyo
mean, like, me and
Dash
Guesty
pads.
on days, we practically don't even use the dash pads anymore.
Careful with that, you'll run out of PP before you even get to the top.
I mean, PP convert is there for a reason, right?
Can't convert while you're doing the PA
Guesty does what he
itself.
wants, okay?
This is why he got hit by them Guesty burbs. But yeah, hybriding that class is really difficult.
Yeah.
I still find playing Katana fun though. Having to go though Hero has kind of spoiled me a bit. I've been dodging attacks more than trying to block them on my
Right? It's
Katana.
like, the instincts of,
This is
like,
a
dodging,
problem.
it's like, no. Oh, man. Omega lol. Speaking of hybrid classes being a failure, you know what's not a failure? Or what's becoming less of a failure? Bouncer.
Bouncer! Play Bouncer!
You know, I
That's
I
my
like my
favorite
dual
class.
blades. I also like my jet boots. But guess what? Dual blades require like 10 times more investment and like care and like rainbow to make it work.
There's like 60 times the amount of investment you gotta put in them dual blades. You wanna hit that thing? You wanna hit that thing over there? Do your dual blades match its element? No? Get rid of them! Get a new
Why
one.
can't element stances also affect dual blades? You can cast, you know.
It does.
No, as in like
Like, the
changing the
casting
element,
thing,
like the jet boots.
that's
Oh,
a gear thing.
my bad.
Jet boot gear does that. It's not
Oh
element
yeah, that's true.
stance
That's
that does that.
yeah, that's a jet boot thing. My bad. My bad on the misinformation. I'm a dumb bunny.
And because of the introduction of the 14 star, I feel like that was the motivation between changing some aspects of element stance. They made it so that element stance is somewhat effective off element. The reason I say why the 14 star may have been the influence for that is because do you really think they expect you to get 6 Jupiter Tuluses?
Basically, yes.
Wow.
Hey!
This guy.
Remember, this time next year, 14 stars are gonna be common. It'll be fine, right? It'll
Yeah.
be fine, right?
It'll be fun. Time to farm for 36 Jupiter Tuluses because they're not gonna have that grind cap.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Guesty had that many by the end of the year.
Oh my god. We may never hear from Guesty again if I hear he gets a second Jupiter Tullus.
Wasn't there like a picture of someone who got the TMG twice?
Yeah.
Yeah, and a few people got the double saber twice, and I think 1 or 2 people that I know of got the rifle twice.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just
Back
the
to
biggest
Bouncer's
problem because
changes.
the investment and it's just so expensive, man.
Yeah, I still wonder how I managed to at least get 6 weapons in the first
Dedication.
place. Especially with striking being so
Dedication,
expensive.
my friend.
To a fix for striking right now? Goodness.
Freaking dedication, my friend.
Though with some of the changes that they've made, I am kind of excited with Bouncer.
Oh.
They changed the skills to only need less points to max out the stances.
Which is a great thing.
And most of the changes that they've done so far have been to jet boots. Everyone pretty much knows Bouncer and Dual Blade. It's been the biggest thing around.
It's in like every
At
trailer.
least when Bouncer was
So,
at
like,
least
every
relevant. Yeah. but they sped up a lot of stuff when it
Yeah.
comes to jet boots. If anyone's ever tried to Vinto Gige an enemy, they would know it's really difficult to land
Before
that
the
kick.
changes.
But they sped up before the changes. Now they sped up the animation and they buffed a lot of the PAs. So it's quite easy to build up gear, and in the effects of rapid boost, the kick for Vinto comes out so
Yeah.
fast that it does a really good amount of damage now. Even if you don't take the tech variant, which a lot of people have argued is the stronger variant for jet boots, the striking variant is still strong.
Yeah.
At least I have
I
to
mean,
say. And since the tree doesn't need a lot of work, you can actually take both stances and both weapon types.
yeah, so
with
that's
you,
why, like,
which
it
is
makes
really
Bouncer
nice.
a better quote-unquote hybrid class. I mean, even to begin with, like, there's
Definitely a
so
better
many,
hybrid.
like, limitations, even to dual blades. Practically, if you really want to be viable with dual blades, you need Kamuis. I mean, Orochis. Near and Orochis.
That's right.
You need it. Like, you actually, it's a necessity. It's not even a want, like, it's a necessity. It's a need to actually be even close to viable.
As the English patch calls them, the twin Orochis. I'm gonna still call them Naira and
Yeah.
Orochi myself. They have a really strong buff to
60?
break
Was it?
stance. So it's huge. It's 60% to break stance so long as you're hitting a
Freaking
breakable
crazy.
part. It doesn't affect break stance up, and it doesn't affect break SD bonus. So it's only on breakable parts. But 60%.
Freaking crazy.
I don't want to talk about the numbers too much, but it definitely makes that one of the strongest situations in general.
Deus heads, man.
Yeah, without break stance though, dual blades kind of fall
Well, they
behind
practically
a bit.
become potatoes, so.
Yeah.
I mean, even then, like, look at the band-aids
current-
that they're trying to help. Like, look at the band-aids that SEGA actually gives us, okay? You know, the, Photon Blade homing ring.
Oh, I mean, it was a good idea, good attempt, but most of the stronger players that I've seen on Bouncer don't take it. Good attempt, though. They are adding a lot of quality of life changes soon for Bouncer. I think following this or next week, we're going to be getting those changes, where we'll be able to have blades fire at 0 gear.
Oh, yeah,
for
that
dual
one.
Blades, and as well have the gear modifier for the PAs affect the PAs.
Yeah,
at
so
gear
basically
0
it
as
says
well.
a big buff for dual blades in general. I love SEGA for loving Bouncer.
Yeah, unfortunately, Bouncer's still in a weird spot. It's kind of similar to Force in that it can't really catch up and deal the damage
Yeah.
necessary. Really doesn't exactly have a lot of range to it outside of its photon blades.
But you know what could use more love? The not a class that's still not a class because I'm not going to acknowledge it as a class. Summoner.
What's a summoner?
Guess
What's a
what's a
summoner?
mobile game called Summoner?
What's that? You talking about the point and click adventure?
Summoner, the point-and-click adventure featuring Guesty and the Recro staff.
I mean, if you get the
No.
near target ring, you don't even need to click.
You don't even need to click with that. Unless, of course, you have the Recros, then you can start sending out those little Megids.
I mean,
Summoner. Where should I begin with this as a main class? Where should
either
I
remove
begin?
the class or overhaul the entire class.
Where should I start as a main class?
Well,
I've never been a fan of the mobile game feeding to get to level 120. I've never been a fan of summoner drops invading my drop pools and filling my storage.
okay, imagine let's rewind back to, you know, April of last year when, you know, Yamato came out. How fun was the first Yamato when you played every single class and it was like, holy shit, guys, we got the 13 star from the Neo EQ.
Viola.
13 star Viola eggs.
13-star Viola egg. Not only that, but half the drops were eggs.
And
Save
more
me.
eggs. Why? Sega, like, no. Sega, this is not something that you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to put egg in like every drop pool.
However, as a main class, I see SEGA trying to do something, but I think the popularity for Summoner has kind of fallen off in recent times. They're buffing a lot of the attack power and attack speeds of several
that's about
pets and their PAs.
It doesn't.
They're changing some of the mechanics too, like Marin and Melon. By the way, shout out to Melon,
I love
my
Melon.
favorite pet. Reducing the damage they take while guarding attacks.
Which is pretty cool. But I mean, like, fundamentally, it's still
trying.
not as dynamic as any other class at all.
Yeah, that's true. Now, let's talk about Summoner as a
Oh,
subclass.
baby!
This actually excites me. Oh,
Summoner
baby.
subclass meta, boys.
Summoner subclass meta. They're buffing so many different skills of Summoner that make it a really good subclass. They're increasing the all-attack bonuses to a point where it actually helps meet the other king of subclass, Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, basically, there's no point to even playing, like, some other, like, subclasses anymore when, you know, Summoner is going to be, like, super good for a subclass. And it also makes you really tanky.
Yeah. Especially those that are tech-based. Some of them used to take Hunter for survivability, but I can see them starting to take Summoner for the extra bonus to techniques as well. Hunter skills don't exactly help techniques,
I mean, you know, Force Summoner is already becoming a pretty prevalent thing, if only Force was viable.
If only Force were viable. Having the HP Restorate certainly does make up for the fact that you don't have Automate, but it may not be able to hold you over for the entirety of the taking damage thing. Lacking the survivability of Hunter may also cost people some bit for exchange for more unconditional damaging. Plus, the changes to the point assist might help as well.
Basically.
Summoner subclass with point assist might be really interesting, since they said that point assist can also affect your damage, and with support, the support they're adding to it, make the entire enemy that the point assist is on act as though it has point assist.
I mean, overall, it's still really good that they're actually trying to make a lot of these changes to make the class actually, like, super viable, you know? But I feel like it's in the wrong places. I still feel it's in the wrong places.
I don't think so. I feel like it's good to have another subclass that works for variety. Because if you recall, fighters always take Hunter, gunners take Hunter, rangers take Hunter, sometimes even tankers take Hunter.
Hey, Braver Bouncers all Hunter,
Having
man.
some variety to the subclasses. Yeah, Bouncer too, Braver too. They all love this nice, almost universal
I mean,
subclass.
it's basically the...
So having another contender for that, I feel is good for variety.
Like, Hunter's basically the only class where you actually have, you know, real survivability in its kit. And namely, it's literally just one skill called Automate. Half-line.
Massive Hunter helps a lot too.
And Iron Will, for some cases. Guesty.
Iron Will and...
Hello.
Hello.
How would you like to tell us about our Lord and Savior, Iron Will, Guesty?
Max it out all the time, boys.
And how many % of the time does it work?
1, even at max.
Yeah, that's basically Sega RNG in a nutshell. If it's not 100%, it's not guaranteed. I mean, that's kind of like basic logic, but by Sega, I mean, by not guaranteed, I mean, like, if it's not 100%, it's like less than 10%.
Just like with my affixes. Don't you just love when that 99%
I mean, like,
fails?
every time?
I lost an elegant stamina to that, okay?
I mean, it's still a pretty fun thing anyways to, like, mess around with. I can appreciate it. I can appreciate it. Oh, well. That is all the stuff of the past, though. So, since this is a two-part podcast, we're done with the past. Because we're about to walk into the future. Guesty, yesterday we had a dragon stream. How cool is that? How cool is that?
I mean, the Dragon EQ itself looks pretty fun. The first thing I want to note is there were no in-between cutscenes, which was the biggest improvement. What wasn't the biggest improvement was the players playing the EQ. That was there were some pretty interesting class choices.
I mean,
interesting weapons. I mean, I know when Dragon comes, I'm gonna play Braver Tekker Gunslash because I didn't know about that until they started playing it. Now I'm like,
you see all those like
what a
you
a
see all
hidden
those
meta.
like 3k damage Reagan slags.
Yeah, man, so amazing.
I mean, to be fair,
Meta is
what they
real.
did was just pull like 10 random people from the crowd to let them play the Dragon EQ. So, you know, we got a lot of notes from the quests excluding how bad the players were. I don't mean to offend anyone, but that was kind of like that abysmal. So, Guessy, let's go over how the Dragon EQ is gonna work.
Okay, well, in terms of how it works from the
Yeah,
start,
we'll just go
or...
over the entire overview of the quest.
Okay, that I can do. Give me a split second. I do actually have a whole separate note for that.
Guessy's actually prepared.
Man,
I know,
guest
right?
he's so professional now. Quiet the whole time, suddenly professional guesting.
Well, all
Let's
I'm gonna
go.
say is iBody is sword memes intensifies.
True. Okay, I think these are...
Go for it.
Yeah, these should be it. Right, so,
Yeah.
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 Okay, here we go. So, first of all, let's talk about the dragon's weakness, which for once isn't actually a hybrid of X element and light. It's actually just ice, which is a very wonderful addition, actually.
Makes people actually want to diversify the gear away.
Yeah, it actually makes me want to diverse their gear a bit more. Starting off, okay, so the first half of the dragon, it's essentially similar to Yamato, where it's kind of a mobbing quest, where instead of Yamato firing cannons and instead of Phantasy be fighting demons across the bridge with a dragon shooting flames at you. An interesting thing is since there's no towers, because it's not Buster Quest, the enemies will be attacking you instead of completely ignoring you for the towers.
You know, how many people are excited to have all those like minotaurs charging you from across the map?
Oh yeah, and actually the other thing is enemies do still suicide, but they suicide towards you now and not the towers because there's no towers. That's gonna be fun as well.
It's pretty crazy.
Oh,
Suicide
no.
bombing. My type of thing.
So after you destroy the enemies, there are catapults that appear, and that is when the second half
Where you actually fight the dragon.
The first point of that half, yeah, it's like kind of where you start fighting the dragon. Your first point is weak points are not exposed first, so your goal is, from what they showed, you attack the legs. You keep attacking the legs, or the other thing is, if you have the Laconium sword, which is it's the gimmick of the EQ. It's essentially an AIS, as when you pick up the sword, you have 60 seconds to use it, and then afterwards it disappears and appears somewhere else. And it's maximum for the first half. The maximum is 3 people can pick it up. The reason they did that is because they want players to have a sense of communication. That way, since there's only 3, like, decide who uses it for whatever purpose. The purpose of the sword actually is if you use the PA Buster Divide, because they have to throw a Buster reference in there somewhere. If you use the PA Buster Divide, it reveals the chest weak point of the dragon, which is probably going to be the highest multiplier.
That's a weakness for the first part, though. From what I've observed as they played, is some of the parts of the dragon is going to glow dark blue, and then as you hit them with the sword, well, using the Buster Divide, it'll glow bright red, which exposes it as a weak spot.
Yeah.
So basically, just like look for the glowing parts, hit it with the sword, and it glows even more.
Essentially, yeah. And when you do enough damage, it goes to a sort of second phase where it starts flying around and shooting fireballs.
So this is the Star Wars part.
And then, yeah, this is pretty much the Star Wars part. This is where you get an EQ version of Battle Roads as well, because there are some parts where it starts charging up a big, like, meteor ball that you have to use a turret to shoot. And if you destroy it, it actually, he flies towards the castle and it kind of temporarily
it's like he kind of drops down.
Yeah, it's literally just a mini Rotos there. It's well, bigger Rotos rather, not mini Rotos. The whole goal of that part is you're supposed to break the 2 wings. That way it stops flying around. So you keep repeating that phase until you break both wings. After that, then you go to the next phase where it moves onto the top of the castle, and you go up there, and it has new attacks such as new melee attacks,
swipes, tail whips,
tail attacks, stuff like that. Yep. The best idea there from what they showed in the stream is you have to break both front and back legs to be able to attack the head. It does have motions where it's like it's not stunned, but it's kind of like it's exhausted, sort of. Like if you play Monster Hunter, when like you weaken a monster, it kind of limps. In this case, it kind of just limps a bit, like its head just kind of sways a bit, and then it's free attacking it, I guess. Afterwards, now this part was actually pretty cool.
Effectively just saying the last part where the weakness is going to be on the tail and the face is swords just going to drop everywhere, and then the whole field just turned into unlimited blade works.
Pretty much. He surrounds the field with fire, and then all 12 blades can be used. You just run and you just whack it, and then you win. You have your cool music playing, you know, your victory music playing, which is probably gonna be the episode 5 opening theme. And then you just like
do me a favor, if you
there's no DPS check.
If you ever see me in your MPA, grab the sword and just shout "I body his sword," and then I'll blacklist you.
I body him sword. I body him sword.
You know, I kind of wish one of my certain friend was here. He would probably be able to chant the entire thing for me, but you know.
Oh,
I know you know exactly who I'm talking about.
Would he do it in Japanese or in
But
English?
what if I told you the Japanese dub is in English?
No, because there are certain iterations of Emiya that do it in Japanese, actually. But we're getting off topic now.
Yeah.
I'm a little upset if the victory music doesn't incorporate
the old one.
No, the main theme of PSO2 at this point. What was it called?
It's just the victory music.
Something world. Save the world? Something like that. I can't remember.
Maybe.
I can't remember the name to the song right now.
Yeah,
this
that's
very
fine.
moment.
But yeah, I think the most important part is that, you know, we're gonna get the Vol series.
Which we should reiterate, it's not a collection file at all. It is drop only, but it's also sellable at the shop.
And then you upgrade into a 14-star. Great. So you can pretty much just buy it on eBay if you can't get it as drop. And by that I mean player shop. Anyways, though, the rematch is not going to come until like next year, I think. And then there's going to be just a three death limit. Yay! Awesome.
Yeah, even less than Deus, surprisingly. Yeah. they went with 3, which means 3 people can die, and one person can be like, "Hi, it wasn't me. You can't blame me."
Well, I know on my first run who's going to be all 3 deaths, so I'm looking at you, Guessy.
Oh my god, I knew it.
Look at you, Guessy. That death counter's got to go up somehow. Also, yeah, they corrected me in the chat there. The song I was thinking of was Whole New
World.
Not that world.
You know, if only Sega collaborated with Disney.
Oh.
Oh
boy.
no, not another company.
No,
for
but
Disney to
remember,
buy.
we're raiding castles. It makes sense, right?
Disney Cat. We already have Disney Castle. That was when
Oh, that's
PD was
true.
a thing.
Oh yeah, that was
Freaking
double. The
Disney World.
Castle.
Disney World.
Disney World. Let's talk about it. Disney World.
That's about it. And it's changed. They're going to be as hard as Zephyros, which is really not that hard.
Yeah, it's really not that, especially without the
Yeah.
DPS check part. I mean, it's the first EQ for
Yeah,
episode
we'll see.
5,
We'll see. I think the one after this is going to be pretty good.
I'm excited
Yeah.
for Blue Dragon.
like this EQ is pretty much meant to properly introduce you
Yep.
to episode 5, like how Yamato properly introduced
Right.
you to episode 4.
Yeah, which is fine. I can be, you know, cautiously
enjoying-
optimistic. Speaking of which,
I'm enjoying all the throwbacks to the older games
pretty
they're
cool.
doing here. You know, with the Red Dragon referencing older
Right.
Phantasy Star games. In fact, everything in Omega and Episode 5 has kind of been a throwback. At
I
this
actually
point.
have never ever played any Phantasy Star game other than PSO2. So,
Yeah, one of our friends is really into all of this stuff for Phantasy Star, so they would have been able to tell us a lot more with these
Yeah.
throwbacks.
oh well. Anyways, we'll see.
But yeah,
We'll
I do
see
like
about it.
this.
So talk about which, you know, 2018 stuff. There's a lot of stuff that you can be really optimistic about. Cautiously optimistic about.
Cautiously optimistic about is about the right
Yeah.
words.
Well, the biggest thing that you've probably
I'm
seen,
optimistic.
like, you know, this Sega just promoting everything everywhere. It's like, yeah, we got the Enchanted Forest free field coming. Yay. Yeah?
Oh, the only thing is it's not a free field, it's a limited progression quest. Because everything's got to
Yeah.
be limited.
I don't
Everything has
I don't
to
understand
be limited,
why.
no matter how
I
hard
do
they
not
work on
understand
it.
why.
Like, remember the mothership that was story only, and then they just never put it in any other quest ever. It's just kind of they made a whole like vocal track for it and everything for the story mode.
Tears of
And
the
then
Moon,
you'd
yeah.
expect it to somehow be put in a quest later in the game for like everyone to run together, but they
Yeah.
didn't.
I miss the abandoned mothership.
And it never just came to light again.
No. Especially since, you know, Episode 4 is ending. I really don't think we're getting anything more with that
Even
mothership.
if the 1 to 4 LQ had the moon and the ruins, but not the mothership.
Oh,
Kind of sad.
that's true. This is true. The Chronicle had
It's
the
so
moon.
sad. I had fun with the Chronicle map though, so much. It's just so fun.
Yeah, it was a fun map.
And then everything's just like gone. All the good stuff is gone. Why is it always gone? Sega, why?
Where
Why,
have all the
Sega?
good quests gone? Where are all the
Right.
gods?
The other thing about the Enchanted Forest that's really interesting, though, this will be our very first quest to have a droppable trigger that used to be SG obtainable only, or casino if you wanted an enemy trigger. But this is a quest trigger that's also sellable. So we're going to that territory now.
Yeah,
with
Player
triggers,
Shops
I
is
guess.
literally gonna turn to eBay now.
I'm just gonna buy my 14 star and my trigger. Just
Pay to win,
You know.
Kappa.
Pay the
Yeah.
trigger.
Speaking of, you know,
pay to be triggered. Oh
speaking
no.
of like a lot of the, you know, getting all the drops, buying all your weapons and everything like that. In 2018, you can get your raise. You can get your raise now.
Astral Soul SAFs for
Raids are
everyone.
pretty decent, so it's worth getting. And the best part is they're making it really easy with
Yo!
60 element now, because you just need. They raised the badge count by 200 for one, but the plus side is you get it at
Yeah,
60 element right
Straight
away.
up, 60 element. You get a 60 element weapon, done.
So you have no excuse to not have a 60 element weapon
Yeah.
now.
And you can get the badges up
Yeah.
your ass, so.
Just run them seasonals, run them limited quests. You'll get a whole bunch
Yep.
of badges.
And then what makes me...
I have like 3 stacks.
I
from
know.
2017.
What makes me really happy is just Profound Invasion boost also returns.
Oh yeah,
I
that
am-
was one of my favorite quests, and I'm glad they're bringing it back.
I am very
Now-
excited for this.
My question about that is the drop table, because last time they brought in raids, but now raids gonna be in the bash shop. So are they going to still keep it as raids, even though raids will be really easily obtainable now?
I feel like they would still throw in the raise, but I'm more curious about the 14-star drop table. Are they going to use the same one that they used before?
I don't know. It's a very good thing and you might want to think about, but well, you know, there's no real point to really try to like think about stuff because we're just gonna know it later anyways.
I'm expecting another 14-star from Guesty.
I don't disagree. But yeah, basically it's just like free Astral Soul fodder. Like, sure.
Astral souls for everyone! You get an astral soul! You get an astral soul! Everybody here gets astral soul!
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's entirely a good thing, but it makes things easy.
It's helping out with the fixing
Definitely.
the weapons for sure.
Well, I mean, other than Profound Invasion boost, we also have the Ultimate Quest boost, which is fun.
Oh man,
Like they're bringing those back to
depends on your
rotation is
definition
really
of fun
nice.
there.
I mean,
it gives Ultimate Quest a more permanent staying
Yeah.
point now if they keep rotating
exactly.
them. Versus earlier where it'd just be like, oh, like after Gix went away, who really continued running?
There's no point to
Ultimate?
play it.
I run Ultimate for leveling at times because it does give some really decent EXP, but with these changes to Ultimate, I don't exactly know what to call if to call it fun at this point. I'm one of those people who doesn't have very good luck with the drops. So me and a few of my friends have been farming this place to death, and I've heard at least 5 times this week, I hate Ultimate. When the week before he was like, yo, I love Ultimate Lillipa. It's like the greatest field.
Right? Well, I mean, that's another big problem with the game, you know. RNG.
Yeah, but what can you do? All MMOs have RNG
Yeah.
at that point. It's not really much we can do
You know
about
what's
that
also
one.
RNG? The changes to freaking PvP. We don't know what weapon's gonna come out.
It's true.
Well, they're helping that out a little bit, actually. They're making changes so that you won't get the same weapon that you're holding when you try to get a new one. I've been in the camp of getting bow at least 7 times in a
Oh,
row.
really now? Really
Mhm.
now?
It's
think so?
painful. Yeah, it makes it. Yeah, it's really
Yup.
bad.
Well, they're making more changes to PvP. They're trying to keep it alive, but I don't even know how many people even still play PvP.
I mean,
mean-
tomorrow they're gonna add new lobby actions. So for the lobby action lovers, there's a reason to try out that PvP. And then there's also 2 more units coming out similar to Red and Blue Shine. Depending on what those are, people might go run PvP for that as well.
Yeah,
If they
unfortunately, I
really
have a
want
lot
to
of
keep PvP alive, give us
Yeah.
another new mini suit.
Oh, man.
TBH.
Yeah, right. Give us a new mini suit.
If anything kept PvP alive, it was when they added the
Oh,
rapid
man.
mini suit.
I still have a lot of gripes with PvP. I don't like how you can't party up with friends and go into a
Right.
main match. There's no reason why a system like that would disallow that.
Yeah.
For a social game, they don't exactly like you playing with your friends.
You know, Buster Quest, you know, PvP, you know.
I do like the weapon changes, though. I like how the rotation keeps it from being a single weapon meta. Like
You mean
it
the eye
tends
body
to
is
be.
sword meta?
In the original setup. In the original meta, yes, it was sword. And it's rising slash. The single PA rising slash. As we moved forward, jet boots became to shine really high, really strongly in that area because it had Grand Wave, which allowed it to be very much like a mosquito. Just come in, poke, and get out.
Except that this poke is actually lethal.
The poke is lethal. Exploding mosquitoes. Then they did TMG, and TMG kind of broke the PvP for a little bit. But since they're planning on changing it, I'm pretty sure that'll fix the issues that TMG has. I'm excited for all of the changes that we're getting, especially since we're getting dual blade with a very unique immortal dove.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm not enough to play it every day, but I'm a little excited for PvP changes.
Which is pretty nice. And then, well, Arcs Rally things.
Oh yeah, they're bringing back Arcs Rally for other quests outside of a
like what? Subdue Fangolf?
Very nice. That'd be interesting.
I'll subdue your Fangolf.
Oh, are we actually gonna go there? feels, man. Oh well, there's still a lot more random stuff, you know, like the PSO2 clouds and everything. I mean, I don't think it's something that would affect any of us, but we're kind of just like, you know, letting you guys know about the news and then why there's gonna be like cloud blocks and stuff like that.
Man, PSO2 cloud.
Sure, the thing about that's got me a bit weirdly interested. Well, not weirdly interested, but it's a weird places that they, in one of the interviews, they said that the cloud blocks will end up getting exclusive items that you can only get at the cloud blocks, but you can bring over.
Oh boy, is it
blocks.
Time to actually play cloud just to get stuff?
It sounds like that might end up being the case.
Time for more X boosters. Now you can boost EXP and Basetta gain at the same time.
But you know, who cares about all this stuff, right? All we're gonna know is we're gonna have a level 85 cap now.
Yep, for all classes, but one.
Except Hero. Hero doesn't get level 85.
Yeah, Hero's too good for that level.
Is this
cap,
literally
you know?
like how Sega is actually gonna balance the game? That we're not gonna let Hero progress in levels anymore.
Maybe.
I mean, you know.
I mean, I'm excited to see the new skill additions they're gonna add to the classes with these new skill
I'm
points.
excited to see how many million EXP I gotta do to get 80 to 81.
Oh no, why did you have to remind me of that one?
I mean...
You already hit the 9 mil for 74 to 7. Not 75, 79 to 80. So only multiply it further.
And before
right?
it's like,
I'm sure Guesty will find a way to level within the first hour.
wants to be like
85.
50 mil. That was a bad joke. I'm sorry. Anyways, yeah.
I'm sure the new skills and levels will definitely help a lot of the classes, especially the ones that a lot of people have been saying might need a little more help, like Force and Bouncer.
Yeah, right.
So I'm excited, but I'm optimistically cautious about.
Well,
what's
there's
going
that,
on.
and then there's also, you know, a new expert requirement.
Oh, yep, that's going to be quite interesting because they've been reviving expert how many
Too
times
many
now?
times.
Another requirement.
I mean, all they've been doing is just nerfing the requirements, isn't it?
I mean, they've just been adding requirements, but they're just like the requirements that shouldn't even need to be requirements.
Yeah. I mean,
essentially, right now, expert is more of a congratulations. Now you know your common PSO2 knowledge. Go get 'em, Tiger.
okay. Yeah, it's kind of unimportant, so let's kind of move on. You know, talk about like the dead class, not a class, not a class, called Summoner. 14-star pets are coming.
Great. Now they can dilute my drop pool even more. You got a 14 star? It's a Viola!
Yeah. And then 3 new techs. Wait, why 3 though? There's 6 elements.
I don't know. I don't know why specifically 3. That's a very odd number.
You know what there's 3 of? You know what there's 3 of?
Number.
There's compounds.
Oh,
That
boy.
is true, there are 3 compounds.
And before they add 3 more compounds, you can have 6 compounds with
Oh my
separate
goodness.
cooldowns.
That'd be insane.
They'll be a little too weird.
I'm still waiting for them to add
my
Earth
goodness,
element.
Please. Let me play Avatar. I'm gonna be the Earthbender.
That was something
Wait,
in the original.
hold on.
I believe.
I have a lack of knowledge here. Did it say Earthbender? I know it's Avatar: The Last Airbender, but like.
I mean, I think there's earthbending.
Yeah, there's Earth bending there. Air, fire, water, Earth.
No, I
That's the
can't.
thing.
I
That's the
can't
thing.
remember the girl's name. The girl that bends Earth.
Wasn't her name Toph?
Was it?
I think so.
I can't confirm you because I never actually watched Avatar.
I never watched it either, so I can't.
Yeah, I
can't-
just looked it up. It's Toph. Toph Beifong.
Okay.
There you go. Easy.
But yeah, that aside, we also have Buster Quest without defense phases. Wouldn't that
What?
That's
wouldn't that make?
literally just gonna be you just run. I don't know. Did you like run up, do the Buster phase, and then
Are
just
we gonna?
attack the castle, and then you're
Are we
done?
just gonna
Yeah.
smash the castle?
I mean,
Does this mean I get to break Pinhead
Yeah.
faster?
I
Neat.
mean,
I guess that makes the Avleta kind of useless, though. It's potential is bonus damage in defense
I-
phase.
guess.
Rip Avleta.
I don't even know anymore. Oh well, I mean, other than that, we also have the more dark mask customization forms of colors, and then we're also having a new form in April, which we all know it's gonna be Lufer. We all know it's gonna be Angel. We're gonna get Dark Fool's Angel for Dark Blast.
Yeah, I'm expecting it to be an angel-themed Dark Blast. I've been having my own conspiracy theory about the Dark Blast off on the side, but I won't bore anyone with that.
Sure.
I'm really excited for being able to customize the color, because no longer will I have to be this hulking blue highlighted thing. Now I can have.
Can I be
purple
neon
highlights.
pink?
Probably.
I mean,
Go
like
for
having
it.
that giant
Do-
thing
do-
running around just like completely be neon pink. Imagine. Or like you see like this like group of like neon pink and neon green dark falls is running around.
Yeah, Veil
Oh,
Blast.
man.
again. I
No.
that's part of my
Like
conspiracy. Don't
this
worry
brings
about
me
it.
back to like when the Guernica legs were a thing and people just make like giant casts of neon colors.
Oh my god, I love those giant casts. That just reminds me of good old Innocence from
Right?
Ship 2.
Oh man, good old days. Good old days. Well, other than that, we already talked about it a little bit, but Force Compound Text will have separate recast times, which is actually perfect. I think it's gonna help a lot.
That'll definitely help out.
Yeah, and they're making PP rest rate
I
a
mean-
little better. For when you stand still, you have more PP restoration, but that's about it. Pets have more attack speed, more damage, and just quality of life things in general. Also for TMGs of it, and it's vertical tracking and stuff like that. And
All these nice little changes to come soon.
that's literally it. It's gonna be super cool though. I mean, that's literally everything that's gonna be coming up for the first half of like 2018.
Yeah, it's not like the first half of 2018. They're mostly gonna be focusing on class balances.
All I want back from SEGA is my balance game. And Force being viable. All I ask for. Is that too much?
Make Bouncer great again.
Make Guesty die less. Wait, no, I can't do that. Guesty dying is like everyone's entertainment. I'll lose like 50 million viewers, dude.
Oh my.
Listen. Sega may be trying to fix things, but they can't do the impossible. Make Guesty die less.
Yeah. Sure. Like, honestly, there's just so many weird things that we can be speculating, but nothing's ever gonna come out right?
Of course, everything changes a long time, so...
I just enjoy speculating. It fills me with glee, just like my conspiracy
theories.
That's
like literally the main point of it. You speculate weird things. People are gonna come back to this video and be like, "Yo, man, this guy's so dumb, dude. He talks about like this shit being like gonna be happening or like," but then like,
just you wait. In the next year and a half, you'll all see I was right. I was always right.
In your dreams, you were.
Captured my favorite trick.
And then you wake up to the next day and nothing ever happens. Well, which, you know, comes into the last part.
Oh, no, not again.
Anyways, though, we'd like to thank all of you so much for sitting here with us for like the past, what, 2 hours or so? I mean...
Has it already been 2 hours? Oh,
it has already been roughly 2 hours, yeah.
Weird stuff. I know, like, the internet's also kind of weird. Because apparently, like, today there's a lot of traffic as well on, like, Restream and stuff like that. So, I kind of can't really help that. Good thing YouTube has this like, playback thing. So, you can still be fine watching the video and everything. This video D is going to be uploaded, like, a bit later, though. So, yeah. If there's any questions that you guys have or anything else, though, you guys can always come over to our Discord server. Well, my Discord server. Which the link is clearly in the description below, so open that box and come join us in the discussion. You know, we're just gonna like talk about weird stuff or like spam emotes or like kill Guesty and like. Wait, what?
What was that?
Well, we'll see what happens.
I think I misheard you a little bit there.
I mean, by kill Guesty, I mean, you know, be entertained.
Oh.
Because it's like entertainment. Yeah.
Nah, just kill Guesty.
Just Guesty. Okay, sure. Sure. Oh well. Anyways, though, we're gonna thank you so much once again for coming to join us, and hopefully we can do a little bit more of this if you guys really like it. For now, we're probably just gonna go back into our sad crying hole of like why Hero is so good, and we're just gonna like enjoy ourselves quite a little bit tonight with this jazz music and stuff, you know. Yeah. Any last remarks we're gonna have? Missy?
I mean, just enjoy PSO2, I suppose. Looking forward to the balance patches. Dragon EQ tomorrow. Not tomorrow. What am I saying?
Not tomorrow.
Omnibus episode 3 is in a couple days.
Well, it's on the 20th, so it's in like 3 days.
Those that
3
missed
days
out. Yeah, 3 days. So for those that like, you know, came around late and don't want to do Matterboard, you can enjoy the episode 3 story in a much more mainstream way, streamlined way.
Yeah.
And by that point, you actually be caught up with the story of episode 1 to 3.
And well, it's a pretty good idea that they did that. So it's pretty much a nostalgia trip for some people too. And you don't have to go through the Matterboard. So why the hell not?
It's really good actually, because even outside of it being a nostalgia trip, for those new that will actually be able to help understand episode 5's characters a bit more, since Luther's in there and Gatham Heart's in there. So the episode 1 to 3 actually what helps shed more backstory on them as well. It's definitely recommended playing if you're going to episode 5 story.
Well, yeah, and that's about it. Miss, do you have any remarks?
Bouncer! Play Bouncer!
Play the Lord Bouncer, our Lord and Savior! Yeah! Yeah.
I'm excited for all the changes coming to the future.
I'm cautiously optimistic.
I hope the game... Optimistically cautious. I hope the game can last as long as
they want PSO2 to they want PSO2 to last 5 more years.
Yeah, I'm hoping they can do it. I really am. I do enjoy this game
Well,
so
more waifus.
much.
That's all they need.
That, all you ever need is just more waifu. But remember, more than one waifu will ruin your life.
And all you need is like there's more fetishes as well. For example, like Harriet just saying like, "Oni-sama."
Oh, why?
Oh no.
You know, fetish. People love fetishes.
Can we not with that though?
It already happened.
Oh no.
No.
But yeah, that's literally about it. Anyways, hope you guys all have a great holiday season. Take care of yourselves for the winter because weather's getting really cold. Hope you guys get really good presents. I might do a giveaway sometimes, so keep an eye out on the Discord. And don't get too addicted to mobile games.
I see nothing wrong with getting addicted to mobile games. If you play PSO2, you're addicted to a mobile game. It's okay.
Okay, sure. Yeah, right. And if you can, enjoy C93 because a lot of music, manga, and porn is coming.
Oh boy, my favorite.
That really have to be pointed out. Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to say happy holidays to everyone, and I hope to see you all playing the game sometime with me. I'll be around somewhere, so I'm not sure if anyone cares.
That sounds really sad. Well, you know what I can tell that we're all really good at doing? Procrastinating. We should end this.
Oh, that's true.
We should.
Okay. Anyways, thanks.
We could just keep going.
Thanks
for
for
another
2 hours
hour.
of fun. I'm gonna leave this up with a few minutes of like jazz music, and then I'm gonna end it. So, have fun, guys. We'll see you guys soon.
Yeah. See ya.
Bye bye.